Hello everyone, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Hallelujah. I get to say both of them now. Before I used to be a Muslim, well I still am, but now I'm also a Christian. I'm two now. I'm both Muslim and a Christian. So like Muslim people usually talk about their conversion story, how they converted to Islam or reverted to Islam. I already was a Muslim. I was born a Muslim, and so now I also think I'm also a Christian. I think it's possible to have two religions. I also believe in Christianity. We will talk about that. The Christian people give testimonies in the sense that they talk about how they became Christian as opposed to their reversion story, that revert, to flip back to the original, which is the Muslims claim that it's the original religion. But the Christian people give testimony, which is why I choose to be a Christian also. And someone told me that I'm three actually. I'm also Jewish, but I'm not sure about that. So I'll not speak about something I'm not sure of. So I was thinking about today's video, what to talk about in today's video. I was thinking two things. One was the testimony, how my story of how I became Christian, or how I decided to become a Christian alongside being a Muslim. It's a bit of a story I have to tell you guys. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about the problems in my life in general. The two tend to be related. When people change religion, it's usually because it's not working out, right? Something's not working out, something's like stuck. That's why people change religions, and then they feel that relief. And so I wanted to make the two together. My testimony, why I became a Christian, and also the problems in my life. Two things go together. And also the third one would be why I still choose to be a Muslim. I identify as a Muslim also at the same time. It's possible. And I also mentioned that I may be a Jewish also, but that's besides the point. That's not important. So today is, I think, the 10th or the 11th of March in 2026, the third month of the year 2026. I was last year in 2025, I was in Toronto. I was there for a year, 13 months, 13 months to be exact. I was in Toronto, Ontario, and now I am back in Vancouver, British Columbia. Since January 1st, exactly January 1st, I landed in Vancouver. So it's I've been here for 3 months now, and for the past 3 months, it's like I don't have a permanent place to stay. Now, I'm not complaining, but I'm just stating the facts. For the past 3 months now, I have no address as such. I have very little money. Things are going okay. I feel alright. Nothing, no problem as such. But what happened in the past 3 months or two months, 10 days or so, I also converted to Christianity. I didn't convert, that's the thing. The word conversion doesn't explain the situation, but we can go with it because that's the convention, right? When it comes to religion, convention dictates. That's the thing. Convention could be a good thing when people are following religion in a very conventional way. It's a good thing, but it can have its drawbacks also. The society becomes a very closed society. For example, the Far East Asian countries such as China, Japan, Korea, either north or south, even the countries at the bottom, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, all these countries, Far East Asian countries, they tend to be very closed societies, generally speaking. At least in recent history, or in recent past, they have been very closed society. They have their own. They used to have their own traditional Shinto religion, sometimes Buddhism. Chinese people have their Chinese heritage, the Chinese ancient culture that they say, which is philosophy based on reason and whatnot. They talk about Confucius and whatnot, the Tao, the oneness of things. What else they talk about is the Shinto Buddhism, Tao De Jing, and similar philosophies that are materialistic and philosophy based, but they do recognize the heaven and the earth. They do recognize the existence of higher powers such as supernatural beings and whatnot. They fly around, they sit on the clouds and play music and whatnot. So it's not secular, strictly speaking, in the scientific sense, but it's just reason-based, philosophy-based, still materialistic, oriented. See, that's why the Asian people, the Far East Asian people, do well in Western countries when they come to Western countries. Because Western countries are also materialism oriented, like that. Science dictates a lot in the Western culture. At least in the realm of economy and politics, religion is pushed aside because the Christian people believe in the separation of the church and state, and so materialism becomes accessible, like taxing, collecting profit over giving credit to people, charging interest, making money from money itself. The old Jewish practices, that is, the Christians still practice it safely and openly without any guilt or the feeling of sin. which the Muslims have problem with. I was born in a Muslim culture, Muslim religion. They separate these things like categorically, like they call it riba, in charging interest. They say interest-based economy is unacceptable. There are things with it that's wrong. That is to say that people with money will make money off of money. Like the have and have-nots separation will keep increasing incrementally over time. It will keep diverging like that. The society will keep diverging in that manner. So for those pragmatic and common sense reasons, Muslims avoid charging of interest. But as a consequence, Muslims remain to be poor. They can't start businesses, they can't buy good homes, they can't buy good cars, they can afford one or the other. They can like either buy a very good car and pretty much live in the car all the time, or they can buy a house and live in the house only. They can't go to work, because how are you going to go to work without a car? You can take public transportation, but that'd be a bit like it's like it gives you that handicap feeling. You feel a bit handicapped that you have a very nice house, but you don't have the money to afford a good car now. You have to take the public transportation to go to work, and usually in North America at least, houses are in suburban areas where the public transportation system is not that good. In downtown spaces are way too expensive. You have to live in suburban areas in North America. So Muslim people would always have that feeling of handicapness as far as money is concerned. Always. Nevertheless, those are the very general basic details about the problems of my life, usually financial, and also I don't have a lot of friends, generally speaking. I came from a Muslim culture, Afghan Muslim culture. I don't keep in touch with my community nor with my family members. I'm just, above is God and below is me type of a lifestyle, bohemian, like free. Almost like I refused to sign a contract, one can say that, with society, the societal contract. I refused. I said rebellion or defiance is a better option. So I live pretty much under the bridge these days. I have very little money. I don't work. I don't drive. I do none of them. I just spend my days just being myself. I don't have to listen to my boss. I don't have to put up with the landlord. I have to do none of them. That is the extent of human freedom. One can say that that if I'm not okay with Islam, I can't really leave Islam. Like, what I can instead do is, instead of leaving Islam and going and living in the jungle, I can instead continue to be a Muslim and also become a Christian on top of that. See, now that's a better option. Now I am I have two now, which means that can I pick and choose between what principles I want to follow from Islam? I can pick and choose, and what principles I want to follow from Christianity. Like, how is that going to happen, right? There's the pragmatic aspect of it, and there's the moral concern for it. I think it's valid, all of those things, but in my mind it's possible, because think of it like this, that like at home I'm a Muslim, but when I go outside I'm a Christian. That's a very natural mode of thinking. People who are very religious and especially very conservative, they have this issue, the inside and the outside issue. and that creates that conflict between in the self also, and in society. For the conflict itself also creates another conflict outside between others and the self, which is which one is which, right? Which one is trusted, which one is to be trusted today. Like the guy can go either way, right? The guy can go Muslim on you, or the guy can go Christian on you. You don't know. But let's go back to the original people who used to be Muslim, one either Muslim or a Christian, conservative types, let's say. They always have this problem of the inside and the outside. So you can see that this conflict is naturally built into the individual and society, that inside the house we are one thing, and when we go outside we project ourselves as the trustworthy one. You can trust me, I can be trusted in society. But when we are inside the house, we are different. Like the question is not there anymore whether I am trustworthy or not. At home I am just myself, right? I'm a bit different altogether. The conflict is built in. So now I'm saying that we can just use that. At home I'm Muslim, outside I'm Christian. Problem solved. Or you can do it the other way around. At home I'm Christian, outside I'm Muslim. How about that? The conflict is still there, but the problem is somehow solved, because now you're recognizing the conflict almost in plain sight. So, moving towards the testimony part of me, why I became a Christian, or why I chose to become a Christian also as a second religion now. I think because of many reasons. Society is now a multicultural society. We should be more creative in society. People who think that an individual should not have two religions are usually the conservative types. They say that the ego cannot be the religion. Religion is to go beyond the ego, beyond the self. When people like me pick and choose, like we end up becoming hippies, and we violate the laws of religion. Like if you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing nobody actually. We become those types when people like me start experimenting with religious ideas. That may be the case, but not always. That's the thing. Not everyone is the same, you see. But the problem remains that not everyone is the same, states the same again, that some people will always get it wrong, some people might get it right. That's what interests me always, is the 1% society. Why do always 1% of society become rich, the rest are have-nots? Why do always 1% of society get it right, even morally? The 99% always get it wrong morally. It's like you cannot make a law or a religion in such a way that it can, do it the other way around. Like 99% of the people would get it right, and 1% people will get it wrong. You cannot make any law, you cannot make any principle, philosophy or religious principle from the sky, or from a cult, from the Mormon or from the Muslim people. There is no such law to make you smarter, to make you think, to teach you how to think. People who know how to think and process information, they will always succeed financially or morally. In design, they will understand things. They will always remain the part of the 1%. The other 99% who are only dragging the average down will always remain and that thing. No religion can change that. It's like a universal constant almost. So I always think of Buddhism also. That's my other interest. The Far Eastern religions, mostly Buddhism, primarily Buddhism, I am very interested in it. It speaks some very interesting things, how to solve this problem. That is, number one, lack of talent, lack of thinking power, brain power. People don't have brain powers. How do you teach someone who don't have a brain power? That's a good question. To make society better, that is, from a Buddhist point of view, that would be compassion or kindness. To show someone kindness, to have compassion on someone, to show someone mercy, to do someone some good is to teach them how to think, right? Teach them how to catch a fish. They will continue to feed themselves later. That's the challenge. I think it's possible. One philosopher once said that I can teach you how to think, but then you have to listen to me. like his purpose was that what he was saying that was, when I'm teaching you, you pretend I'm teaching in the sense that one is learning. Like one is giving, one hand is giving, the other hand is receiving, right? You don't teach me back is the general principle. The same applies with Buddha, like it applied to Muhammad, like it applied to Jesus, Moses, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, everyone, all the way back to Adam, pretty much, which is revelation, what comes from the sky. You don't tell God what is what, right? When God tells you something, you take it. So the philosopher was saying something similar, that even if God sends a book you're not understanding, then maybe you're doing the same mistake with God. You know, simple principle. Like even if I, as a school teacher, teach you, you don't teach me back anything. It's the principle of revelation. It's like in a straight line like this, from heaven to earth. So that guy, philosopher, was replying to the student's question, that the student was frustrated that I don't understand, maybe I'm not smart enough or something, some blockage over there. So the teacher gave a very good reply that if you're not learning from God, how can you learn from me? It's like, if I teach you how to learn, then you don't talk back or you don't teach me back anything. Was the initial mistake you were making before? You're not understanding the nature of revelation. Something along those lines. So I think I have enough recording for now. I will continue along this subject some other time. So thanks for listening.